Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to my hobby blog. I am very excited today because I've been binging Egghead the last few days because the latest chapter in the new arc, which I will not say the name of, has been getting a lot of hype. So I've been channeling that hype and going fast, using my coupe de best to speed my way through the chapters. And I'm very excited to have my friend Matthias back. Welcome back. How's it going?
Going well, Christian. Thank you, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. I've been because the last time we talked it was Wano, and I didn't really feel that hot about this about that arc, and it's completely on the other side of the spectrum for me about this arc. This is definitely top three arcs for me. Egghead. I loved everything about it, even the stuff that I didn't care as much for. It's still very important stuff going on, very fascinating, very cool concepts. I knew we were going to get a lot of Vegapunk this arc, but I did not realize how much lore he was going to be spitting the entire arc, and it was all fascinating. The flashbacks were fantastic as well. I loved some of the flashbacks in Wano, but Egghead, I think all of it was just fantastic. Very emotional. For anyone who's watching this, if you haven't finished Egghead, don't watch this. This is going to be full spoilers up through Egghead, up to chapter 1126. I have not started 1127, which right off the bat it shows where they're headed next and what's going on there. So I assume that's the start of the next arc. So right off the bat, we get some really fascinating convergences of Buggy, Takanome or Mihawk, and Crocodile forming the Cross Guild because they got Buggy out of Impel Down and they're like, hey, you owe us. We're going to take your land, Buggy Land, and make it our own. And we're going to operate through you. Because everyone that follows you is like a big fan of you. And it's like so fun to see that. So I love Buggy. I think Buggy's one of my favorite characters from the beginning of the series. He is so funny. I loved him in Marineford live streaming, everything going on. And then he hasn't really been around too much in the post time skip. But when he does show up, like here, it's so much fun. Like he's now one of the Yonko, one of the Emperors. But he's not really that powerful. He just keeps failing upward. And like that's one of my
It's,
favorite things.
it's a great gag. Did you see it coming, or were you surprised when it was revealed?
I was a little surprised, yeah, because I didn't think he was powerful enough. I mean, Luffy is given the title of Yonko, I think, towards the end of Wano. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I can see him being a Yonko. Like, he's, up to the task. I mean, Blackbeard says it's a little, presumptuous to call him a Yonko. But, I think he's, especially now that he's Nika, it's very earned for him to be called a Yonko. But Buggy, I mean, I think it's just like the culmination of the gag for me. And it's so funny. Like, that he's now a Yonko. Like, I don't know if he's going to be graduated to, I don't know, Gorosei or something. I don't know, even higher, but that'd be
There's a lot
really
of
funny.
theories that Buggy is going to become the Pirate King because he
Oh,
says
yeah.
that at some point.
Hmm.
So that's obviously like something Luffy wants to do. Um, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Because I kind of I really love that gag as well of him falling upwards, and
Hmm.
the logical next step is like he becomes the Pirate King, but
Yeah.
then Luffy wouldn't have it, so there's a conflict there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's gonna interesting where it's gonna go. So yeah,
Yeah,
but
because,
also you said this name Takonome. Who's that?
oh,
I'm
that's
not sure who you
Mihawk.
meant.
That's the Japanese translation. So I just
Oh,
call
I
him
didn't know that.
Takanome sometimes. Yeah. If you
All right.
listen to the audio when they say Mihawk, it's Takanome. And it sounds cooler to me. I mean, Mihawk is a cool name, but Takanome is like, it hits you. To me,
All
at
right.
least.
Cool.
So, but yeah, so Mihawk, yeah, he's still hanging around. I mean, I'm waiting for him to get more active, but they're building an army, so that's really cool. And they're trying to extract as much as they can from Buggy in the meantime. So that's a lot of fun. And we get a really fascinating introduction of a new type of pacifista called the Seraphim. And I loved the Seraphim this arc. They were so fun. They weren't in it as much as I was expecting them to be. But when they were there before Kizaru and the Gorosei appear on the island, they are so much fun because they're sort of copies of all these warlords. We have Boa, we have Mihawk, we have Jinbei. He's there, like that's a lot of fun. And Jinbei fights him, and he's like, "I hate this version of me. He sucks." And it's just a lot of other warlords. I think Law is there as well as a since he's one
No,
of the villains.
Law is not one of the
Okay.
Seraphim.
Yeah, there's like 10 of them or something because it's all of the
Yeah.
warlords. Vegapunk took the blood of some of them and was able
Yeah,
to make them.
On Egghead there's like 4 or 5, and then you see like Crocodile,
Hmm.
like outside you see Crocodile, you see Moria, and you see Doflamingo. You
Hmm.
see like one panel of them, but they haven't appeared as like full on
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, because we have a scene of him, the Seraphim versus Boa and Blackbeard while
Mhm.
Kobe is there, and that's when Kobe is captured, which leads to like the best animation I've ever seen in anime. We'll get to that. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to sort of see Blackbeard in action and sort of like going on to Amazon Lily, I believe, because he's trying to capture Boa and take her devil fruit powers, I believe, and she calls him too ugly to be able to even use the power, which is a lot of fun. Sort of her insulting him and saying that he's not good enough for the power, but you know he's trying. He's trying to collect all the devil fruits. Was to me, he's trying to do that because he stole Whitebeard's and tried to take Ace's, but then someone else had to grab, or Sabo took it. But there's a lot of Revolutionary Army lore in this arc, which is amazing, and I loved it. Dragon is still not off his ass, but we get a lot of lore at least. So,
Yeah, yeah. He's still facing west. One day he'll move.
and so fascinating too because I knew there was a lot of Kuma stuff coming because it's all over the place online. You see a lot. I've been
Hmm.
seeing a lot of sort of images of past Kuma when he's king and everything with that, but I didn't realize we would get his entire history, and it is so sad. I feel bad for him. I love all of the exposition about the Buccaneers, about that race of people, and sort of
Mhm.
like how they were researching the Boyd Century or they were doing something. They caused a big crime that the world government does not like. So they just turned that entire people into slaves. And they also have this festival of cleansing, I believe it's called, where they hunt down many different nations and people on God Valley. And then we get a mention of Rox and Roger coming, and then it cuts away, and we don't see any of that. And I was like, God dang it! Like, I was really wanting more with that. But
He's
what
good
we
at
got was
blue
awesome.
balling you.
Oh yeah.
Oda, he loves to like. I still remember, like way back in Enies Lobby when you're about to get the name of the ancient kingdom, and then
Mhm.
one of the Gorosei shoots the guy, shoots the guy who was about to say it, and
Mhm.
we still haven't heard the name like 700 chapters later.
Yeah.
So he loves to almost give information. The same in Vegapunk's speech, where at one point it gets
Mhm.
disturbed and there's a certain thing you don't hear,
All
and
about the D. Yeah, the D name.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was the one thing I wanted, and I was so excited because I was reading that chapter last night, and it was like one of the final chapters that I read before like all of the celebration chapters and the catch ups with the other characters. And I'm sitting there reading, and he's like, "The name of D is," and then the broadcast is cut off, and I was like, "Fucking
So what do you think?
Oda."
What do you think of the speech overall? Because it's pretty long, like it's a lot of chapters. So what do you think of that whole setup?
I really enjoyed it. I sort of, I guess, clocked a little bit about the ocean levels rising because we have so much mention and sort of panels looking at like underground civilizations and Luffy. Like in Fishman Island, we see a lot of this where we get flashbacks of Roger going under and they see a lot of the buildings, underground stuff, and then we get old Onigashima that is deep under the water as well. And so I sort of knew that was coming, but I had no idea that it was man-caused, which is, I guess, a metaphor for climate change. And it's like the world government is weaponizing this concept of climate change in order to control the world more. Because everyone sort of doesn't believe it when it first comes out that the world is sinking and the water's coming up 200 meters. Already it did, and it's going to go up another 200 meters, is sort of the worry. And people don't take him seriously at all, which is very reminiscent of what's going on now. But I was really sort of struck by how much more the world makes sense now. And I love that. I love how Oda is able to do that. I love that he... Yeah, so it's really fascinating that Oda is giving us like even more context. And I love that he's giving us all of this, because every arc, I feel like the reread is just going to be so much more fulfilling to read. Because I had no idea what to focus on all the way up until, like, I want to say Reverie, because once Emu was introduced, I was like, okay, now I know who the central villain of the series is. Now I can sort of pay attention more to the world and the world building. And the Void Century is something that I've wanted a lot of information about. And Vegapunk gives us a lot of info. Not enough, in my opinion, but he gives us a lot. So, and I love that.
Yeah,
Those are...
if you read, when you get to read the series again, you'll also see there's like cover stories that provide more information, and one of them has like Jinbei going on the water, and you see more stuff like that, which the anime don't include.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's really cool too, because during the speech, Vegapunk talks about Joy Boy and how he's the very first pirate ever. And that was like total shock to me. I'm like, there were no pirates before Joy Boy? Like, why was, like, what was the world like before the Void Century? And all we know is about the 1,000-year-old sort of peaceful kingdom, and how travel through the oceans was much easier during this time. That's really all we get about the pre-Void Century time. So I'm very curious to know, like, what is going on. And I hope we get some flashbacks. I hope it's not just, like, exposition from a book. I want to see it. I want to see that time period. And I hope we get it soon.
yeah, I feel pretty confident that there's going to be like a long Void Century flashback, because, like, for example, we meet someone in this arc from there, Emmett the robot. Like, he was Joy Boy's companion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and we've also met the elephant, Sunisha.
Sumesh, yeah.
Um, so, and also Nefertari Lily was
Mm-hmm.
also a companion. So there's a lot of characters already set up that's like ready to kind of be explored. Also, Kusuke Oden's wife, who time travels, I forget
Mm-hmm.
her name, but she's probably also going to be in that. So there's like already a ton of characters we've met that could be explored, plus some other ones who's going to be like the companions of Joy Boy, and yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Oh,
But like
yeah.
you said, like before that era, like what was it like? And that's also interesting to think about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, because I have a theory, because Shanks shows up from Wano to Marineford in, like, very quick time. And so my theory now, having finished this arc, because my brain immediately went to him just quickly going, does he have access to technology from this time? And is that how he was
Mm-hmm.
able to, get to Marineford so quickly from Wano? Because that's a pretty major distance. He did like a week, in like a single week or
Well,
something.
I mean, he didn't go from Wano to Marineford.
Or was it close to Wano? Because he was fighting Kaido, if I recall.
Well, they just said that he was fighting Wano in the New World, but the
Hmm.
New World is everything past the wall. So it's kind of like a bit vague where exactly that was. But it could have
Yeah.
been, yeah, it could have been near Wano, of course, yeah.
Hmm.
Because he intercepted Wano, Kaido, who was on his way to Marineford.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know exactly where.
Well, I hope we get answers soon.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's a lot of really great... We can just talk about Shanks for a while here, because there's so much great Shanks stuff in this arc, including him killing Kid, which I love Eustace Kid. He's one of my favorite characters. Side characters, I would say. He's not a main character, but he was amazing in Wano. And he's like, I'm gonna get my revenge for Shanks cutting my arm off. And Shanks is like, just give me the poneglyph and I'll let you live. And he's like, I'm gonna kill you. He brings out this awesome gun, shoots it at Shanks, and it obliterates everybody. And I'm like, oh, okay, that was easy. And then it like zooms into his eye and comes out of it. And he's like, oh no, we gotta stop this. And he has this like really deep future sight, which I don't think we've had any like long future sight. We've had like a few seconds. Katakiri does it, Luffy does it, and maybe like one other character. And it was so cool, so fucking cool getting that scene. I really love that, and it was right at the beginning of the arc, and it was just so fun. Like, Shanks is, I don't know if he's a villain or not, but I have to lean that he is one. And because I've had a theory for a while that he's going to be fighting Luffy, like towards the end of the series, because he's trying to get the One Piece as well now. And so I'm kind of like, man, there's clashing goals here. And maybe they both lose and, you know, Buggy becomes the Pirate King. That's an option, but I feel like there's going to be a really big showdown between the two of them.
Yeah.
And I felt that the
And
last two arcs or so.
So you think he's dead because you said he killed him?
It feels like he's dead. I mean, I don't want him to be dead. I really enjoy his character, but yeah, I think he is dead.
This is One Piece we're talking about, you know, so people have a hard time dying in the present.
That's true, yeah.
I won't say whether it's confirmed. You know, you're not that far off from being caught up, but
I'm like 30 chapters away. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting with Kid where he goes. But yeah, it's pretty. I think that Shanks, he gets a lot of glaze. He gets a lot of good moments where he looks very cool.
Yeah,
and that was definitely one of them where he just one shots him.
Yeah. After he kills Big Mom and everything, shows how badass he is, and just bam, just knocked out.
And the anime really, like, because of the animation, just makes it a lot cool. Like, he becomes a griffin and he flies in and then slashes him, and that's very cool. Like, it's still cool in the manga, but he doesn't have the griffin thing and stuff. They kind of like added that as a flair.
It was really cool too because Dory and Brogy are there too, and we haven't seen them in a long time, and it was so fun to see them like back in the story. And I also watched the One Piece Red movie, which reveals that Shanks is the son of Saint Garling, the God Knight Commander. And that was like, that's one of my biggest evidences that he's like a villain. Because he was raised to be this way and maybe thinks of himself as like the savior of humanity or something. So his intentions are good, but I feel like it's like a sort of, I guess, anti-hero type of arc that we're going to see him. Because we only just saw him unleash his power this arc. So we don't really know much about him yet, but that was like a really crazy reveal. And then we see Garling hunting down slaves and all these people. And he's like, yeah, 500,000 belly I get for killing this guy. And you're like, man, this guy sucks. Like, so I'm really curious to know more about Shanks's backstory. So
what do you think about the tease about the Rooks pirates in God Valley?
I wanted a lot more. I love seeing them all in that panel. And then I was like, where's Rox though? Where's he? And he's not there yet. And we hear about how the only thing that came out was the Garp running off or running after fighting Rox. And we get some backstory about Kuma and Ivankov. That's where they met, and Jenny as well. And Kuma successfully eats the pawpaw fruit and is able to teleport him and like hundreds of people, which is awesome. Like, and this is part of why I love the flashbacks, because it shows how honorable and good Kuma is, and how he's, you know, a very gentle giant, gentle bear. Like, he's amazing. I love Kuma. I love everything with it. The Bonnie stuff was really incredible too. How she can sort of see her future sight and future self or whatever. And she uses that ability later in the arc and is like, I want to see the future me at peace, and she turns albino like Nico, and they fight together against the Gorosei, and it's like, yeah, I was like, this is awesome.
Actually, when that chapter came out, it was kind of controversial.
Oh,
A
was
lot of
it?
people didn't like it because they were
Hmm.
like, it kind of devalued Luffy's like year five, that she could also do
No.
it. Like I don't agree with it, but that was like at
Yeah.
the time. But I think people quickly got around to it because it was only very short.
Yeah.
And I think it thematically it ties in with like Luffy teaching her and everything, and he is the god she's been waiting for, which is her dad's god and everything.
Hmm.
Like it all fits. But people just, I think, from a power scaling thing, is like, oh, now it's like you can just copy it. It's kind of cheap. But no, I really liked it. I thought it was very cool.
Yeah, because I mean, I can totally see a future where, like, after everything's done and Nika's saved everybody, like, his core people and the people on his island are all albino or whatever, and that's sort of his territory. Not territory, but like he just has this effect on people. Like when he's around or when people are at peace, like after the series is done, like they turn albino. And that was sort of like what I was thinking about with her, because she's like, oh, this is how people are when they're at peace, is they're albino, like Nika. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Like,
That is an interesting theory. Okay, I hadn't
yeah.
know that one. But
So I have a
maybe everyone will turn white hair at the end of the story.
yeah.
Piece.
Because we have the Lunarians and how they're sort of like the volcano people. They kind of look like they belong in a volcano to me. They have the
I think
like,
it's just because like you watch the anime where they gas up his attacks like
mm-hmm,
crazy, and he's like summoning a fire dragon and stuff. It's not so much that in the manga, I think. But
yeah.
oh, it's true. He does have the flame, right? Like that's a
Hmm.
big thing of the design. Yeah. But I think the big thing with them is like they used to live atop the red line, and then they
Hmm.
got pushed out by the
Yeah, they
old
were the
government.
original gods of the land, is what
Mm,
they call them.
yeah.
Which is fascinating because who are the Buccaneers and how are they related to the Lunarians? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of world building that I want answers on related to that.
There's a few things I want to talk about. Like, there's a lot of fights in this arc.
Oh, yeah.
Where you have like Law versus Blackbeard.
Hmm.
What did you think of that one?
That was fun. I'm happy Law was able to get away. I did not want him to die as well, along with Kid, because that was like pretty soon after the Kid death or supposed death chapter. Because Beppo finally uses the potion or food cookie thing that Chopper gave him to go Sulong mode, and that's the only reason that they were able to get out. And there's a really fun part where Blackbeard is riding on Doc Q, like through the sky on like the horse, and Law just slices them in half, and Blackbeard falls, and that was really fun. But I was not surprised to see that Blackbeard basically won that fight. So,
He he always wins off screen in a
mm-hmm,
lot of his fights. But I think that Oda did a really good job at showing like Law being cool, like still
mm-hmm.
fighting, still having some like small wins, but in the end he's of course not gonna win because Blackbeard is like one of the main villains.
Yeah, he has like
Uh,
three devil fruits basically. Well, he has two devil
well
fruits,
here
but he's trying to get the third one. Because his flag, if you
yeah.
notice, his sigil has three skulls. So that's.
There's a lot of theories about like he's gonna get, because he has a Logia and a Paramecia. There's a lot
Hmm.
of theories he's gonna get a zone type. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it's the third one, which I think that would be cool. But
So
yeah,
yeah, one of my theories that I have for the series is that we now have the god of light or the sun god. Is there a god of darkness and all that? Like obvious choice is Emu, but I have to wonder, is Blackbeard somehow going to take over and take Emu's power somehow, and he becomes the god of darkness because he has the darkness fruit or whatever. Because I don't know anything about Emu at this point. I just know he's really weird and he's a shadow guy. He's like a really long puppet guy looking. And so I have a theory that he's going to either Emu is the god of darkness or whatever, battling Nico, or Blackbeard is going to become that by getting all the devil fruits and just being basically God on Earth and sort of the dark god, like Dark Lord, sort of. character.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about that for a while, and this arc was kind of like, okay, I think it's cemented. I believe this is going to happen. Like,
Cool. Yeah. There's definitely like it's definitely a cool aspect that they're like hunting devil fruit users, and
mm-hmm.
there was also like that moment when two from his crew show up on Egghead and they
Oh yeah,
touch the Gorosei.
yeah,
Yeah,
Katarina.
yeah,
Yeah, because she
and
can.
she can copy the appearances of people.
Oh yeah, and that's really fascinating to me because that means they're trying to get into Mary Joe. Like, to me, that's what that means. Because
Mm.
what else are they going to use that for? Except to go into the most private of the rooms.
But I mean, you saw it. Then he dies at the end, so it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, how would they use it? Because like the Gorosei would know that he's dead. So if he shows up, it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like
They gotta be
busted.
quick about it before they announce the new Gorosei. So, they
Yeah,
gotta
but
be
I mean,
really
it
quick.
wouldn't
Yeah.
work on Emu or the
Oh,
Goroseis,
it
the other
won't, but
Goroseis.
yeah.
But it
But
might work on maybe more low marine, maybe. But
that's what I'm
yeah, it's
wondering
interesting.
about is that are they going to try and enter Mary Joa as easily as they can, and then once they're there, they can get out of the disguise and cause
Yeah, I guess we'll
problems?
see. There's one thing I wanted to mention, which I think
Hmm.
you might have missed, or maybe not. At the start of the arc, Luffy is like on the boat when they're like transitioning, and he tells everybody that he has a dream. Do you remember
Hmm.
that? And you kind of see the reaction from the whole crew.
Yeah, so I do remember that because doesn't he have the same dream as Roger? He sort of has a
Yes,
yeah,
yes, he has the same dream, but it hasn't been revealed. A lot of people think that confuses it with being the Pirate King,
yeah.
but that's not his dream. This is an unrevealed dream that we still
Mm-hmm.
don't know. We just see the reaction of the crew to it.
Yeah, I have no
Did you
idea
pick
what
that up?
that. I did pick that up, and
Okay.
I have no idea like what his dream could be, except maybe peace on Earth. Like that's really like all I can think of. Maybe like a rolling back of all the exploitation and just bad things in the world. Like maybe his dream is to bring the world back to the pre-void century and sort of I don't know. Like it makes me think that he's going to somehow lower the ocean, and everything's going to be revealed again. The giant continents are going to come back because most of the world now is just islands, is what they've talked about in this arc, and how everything under the ocean is actually
Mm,
just giant continents. So it makes me
yes.
wonder. Like I originally thought it was just a giant Pangea continent, like a supercontinent, but then they did
Hmm.
confirm there's multiple giant continents. So it makes me wonder: is he trying to recover that? So
And I think Luffy is a simple person, so it's probably a bit more simple. I think it's going to be something like he wants to have a party with everyone in the world, or he wants to eat,
mm-hmm.
everyone to eat together or something like that.
Maybe
That's
bountiful food
how.
for all.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be in like such altruistic terms. It's more going to be like I
Mm-hmm.
want to have a party with everyone or something like
Yeah.
funny. But yeah. Um, so what did you think of Emmett the Giant?
That was awesome. I loved it. I was really hoping we would get more with it, but we did get a really great flashback of him and Joy Boy hanging out. We don't really see Joy Boy, we see his silhouette, but that was really fun to sort of finally see Joy Boy on the panel. And I guess technically the anime as well, because I read 99% of the series on the anime. But it was really fun to finally see like a form to him. And he's talking with Emmett, and he's giving him sort of the hockey timer, and he says like, when you're ready, pull the string or whatever, and you'll rescue, either me or someone that you're going to need to save, which ends up being Nika. And Luffy and Emmett talk, and that's a lot of fun too, because we're getting some lore about how he thought Luffy's presence was Joy Boy originally, and then he was like, "Oh
Hmm.
wait, like Joy Boy must be dead now." And that's why, this new guy is here. Let me support you any way I can. And then he does that, I guess, seemingly sacrifice. He uses the hockey and disappears all of the Gorosei back to Mary Joa. and that was awesome. I really loved that moment. I wanted a little bit
Yeah, that
more
was cool.
lore, but I mean, I was fine with it. It isn't like with the name D where I about screamed when he cut from that. So,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think he was a great character and great setup.
mm-hmm,
And we don't know what happened to him, right? He was left on that island where there's a lot of Marines and
mm-hmm.
the Gorsa he got killed. What's he called again? Saturn.
Saturn, yeah.
He was still there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we it doesn't seem
He's now
like
a
he was left
skeleton.
into. Oh yeah, but that was later, so we don't know what happened right after because they sailed off. So he might have gotten
Mm-hmm.
captured or he might have gotten away. We don't really know. But talking about the Gorosei, so that was a cool reveal, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
did you see it coming that the other four was going to join, or was that a
I
big
did
surprise to you?
not. I thought that was going to be next arc. So I was like, okay, like we're getting the one goal say, like this is gonna be awesome. Cause I didn't know how powerful they were, and when he comes out in the spider form, that was so awesome. And then all of the other ones come out too, cause Vegapunk starts broadcasting the message, and they're like, oh shit, like we need to get in there now and stop it because he's about to tell everything. We don't know what he's going to say. But he's right off the bat like, let me tell you about the Void Sentry. And they're like, okay, everyone go, go, go. And they all touch down. We have this awesome artwork of the Black Lightning coming down. And I was like, oh man, like here they come. And they're all like historical, mythological yokai, which made me very, very happy. I was very happy to see that. I love seeing the yokai. I loved in the manga how they had an entire information sheet explaining the history of each of the Gorosei or the Yonko, excuse me, the yokai. There's a lot of Japanese names that I'm getting confused by. But I really enjoyed that. I loved all the different powers. The bird guy was awesome. I think that's Jupiter or Jupiter, I would say. And I did not even notice that all the names were planets. I noticed Saturn, of course. But then I was like, oh, wait, there's more Corey. And then there's Jupiter. Oh, Jupiter is Jupiter. I didn't even connect that. So when they had all five of them listed with the names, I was like, oh, the five planets. Oh, that's why they're called the five planets. Okay. I was like, I should have. I
Exactly.
was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
slow to that. But I really love the
That's
fights. The Gandhi guy was a lot of fun. He and his horse. He
that's my
fights.
favorite.
Yeah.
I think he got some of the coolest kind of moments, like slicing the island in
Mm-hmm.
half and running around slicing the pacifistas, and
Mm-hmm.
just the panel where he's like shadowed and he has
Yeah.
like a sword and there's a bit of blood dripping off. Like it's a lot
There's
of
a lot of
aura.
Ola. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he fights Zoro, and Zoro goes toe to toe with him. Like that was awesome.
Mhm.
So I want to know more because they did not go into that shadow mode that they went in when because this was a fun moment that I want to talk about is Wapo sees Emu and the entire Gorosei go into crazy mode to kill Cobra. And that was one of
Mhm.
the coolest moments of this arc because it's about halfway through, I believe, maybe a quarter of the way through. And Walpole just runs through every single wall and Mary Jo to get away from Emu. And he even took pictures of Emu with his transponder now, Snell. So he goes to Morgan's and he takes Vivi with him because he just sort of runs into her. She's restrained and all this stuff. And he's like, okay, like, I need to save her. Like, let's go. And they go to Morgan's, and Morgan's like, I'm not gonna, they don't even talk about it yet. We don't know if Morgan's even knows, but Wapo tells him everything else about it, so.
But I don't think Wapple took any pictures. I'm not sure where you got that from. I don't
There's
remember
a
seeing that.
transponder now on the wall taking pictures. Was that not Wapo's?
That was not Wobble. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
something the Marines later release to frame
Yeah.
Sabo. He gets framed for the murder.
Okay. Okay. I mixed that up. So.
And also, he doesn't really save Vivi. It's more like because she's like held by the Super Zero, and
Mm-hmm.
then Babel just like runs through and accidentally kind of eats her, and
Yeah.
she gets away. So yeah.
Which is good because Emu has an obsession on the Nefertari
Hmm.
family, and we don't know too much about it because he has a giant portrait of the original princess or queen of it, of the family, a giant portrait. So I assume he's in love with her. Maybe she spurned him, and he went down this very jealous arc, I guess, just hating everybody. But
There's actually there's a plushie,
hmm.
which is pretty funny. I'll send you a picture. Let's see, can I do that here? Right. So this is actually a thing. It's a plushie of Emu that
Oh
you can buy
yeah,
this.
yeah, I want that.
You should edit it in this video, maybe, so people can see
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I can put
But
it
it's
into
pretty funny.
OBS. Yeah.
And Oda, he even had a comment. He has like author comments in chapter, and he was like, "Oh, I have this plushie in like the corner or something."
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I think I've seen a picture of his desk where he had the plushie there, and I was like, ooh, that's a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah. There's a I have to run it not so long, but there's one thing I wanted to
Yeah.
discuss before,
Hmm.
and that is like Garp invading Hachinosu,
That was
Pirate Island,
awesome. I loved it.
right?
It was all the best animation because I keep seeing this meme like online was like, oh, we can't show Gop yet. We don't have the budget yet. Like we gotta wait. We gotta wait. And I was like, I wonder what that means. And then he comes out and he has like a galaxy powers with his hockey, and like you see the entire galaxy behind him before he does his big punch against Kuzan. And if you slow it, I think you sent me this video. The video was slowed down and you go frame by frame, and they have this big dap or whatever. Like they do that, and then Gop punches his hand out. Like it's so
You should
fun.
edit
Like
that in. Yeah, you should edit
yeah,
called like the Galaxy Dap. Yeah, where you see them
yeah.
as younger because of the mentor-student relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and everything there is one of my favorite like fights and just scenes. Just him invading, and
Oh
Garb is
yeah.
just such an entertaining character.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he definitely gets a lot of aura, a lot of budget, and yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, that's when Kobe also uses hockey for the first time on screen, which is fun, I guess, but a little too
Yeah, he
long,
does
too little too late.
the honest impact on the big hand.
Pizarro, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a really cool guy, by the way. I love the island food. That's such a fun idea.
Yeah. Although one thing that like I really like that whole sequence, but I think it does lowers the threat of those characters because they all got like beat up by Garb. It
Mm-hmm.
like that makes Garb look awesome, but like
Yeah.
it kind of lowers the threat of those villains because they all just got like manhandled
Mm-hmm.
by him.
Yeah.
So I feel like with those characters that they need to be a little bit more have some scenes where they're a little bit more threatening or they get some wins in some way because if they like the theory is that all of Luffy's crew is going to fight all of the Blackbeard's crew because they have approximately the same amount of members. You know, he has a sniper, he has like the same kind of roles, you know, like Usopp is going to fight the sniper and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think, yeah, like on Hachinushu, they just all got beat up by one person. So like they
Yeah.
need some wins at some point. But it's a cool, it's similar to the stone fruit from Dressrosa, Pika,
Mm,
the
yeah.
fruit here, just like a higher level.
Yeah, it's awesome. So that's about it, I guess, for now. And this was a lot of fun. I'm very excited. I don't even know how we're going to cover Elbaf. I guess when I catch up to the most recent chapter, I guess we can reconvene and then I'll go chapter by chapter. Is sort of what I'm
I think
thinking. Or maybe three
I think that's
chapters.
good because like it's approximate. I would guess that we're probably halfway into Elbaf now,
Hmm.
or maybe more. But so that would be probably good, yeah. And it's pretty exciting. You're gonna get some answers to some stuff that you've been talking about, if I can tease
Ooh.
that, but maybe not all everything. But it's I would say for me, but in the new world, like in the post time skip, it's been right now it's Elbaf and Egghead are fighting for the number one spot. I
Yeah,
think
same.
he's really been on a roll,
Yeah,
but you'll
Elbaf,
see
I
once
have
you
it at
start
number
Elbaf.
two. Yeah, it's number two right now. Marineford is still my number one. I love that one a lot.
How can it be
But
number two when you haven't even seen it yet?
well, I'm talking about Egghead. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
Egghead, yeah, yeah, okay.
Egghead is number two. Yeah, Elbaf, I don't know where I'll put that, but
Yes.
If it's as awesome as everyone says, I'm sure it'll be better than Egghead. So,
Yeah, I look forward to see your reaction to new characters and what gets revealed. So yeah,
oh yeah. And thank you again for coming on the channel. It's been a lot of fun.
thank you, Christian. Take care.
You too.